Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about the new moon in Virgo that is happening on September 14th, 2023 at 6:39 p.m. Pacific time. If you are not in the Pacific time zone, please adjust for your location. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about the new moon and some of the aspects the planets are making to the new moon, as well as some of the background or the soundtrack behind this new moon. Virgo is a sign that represents our everyday activities. It represents our employment or our role as an employer. It represents our daily health habits, our eating habits, our exercising habits. It is our everyday thoughts and analysis and process. And I believe that this particular Virgo new moon is giving us an opportunity to really plant the seeds for new daily habits or new thoughts that may have started off as concepts or as ideologies, but are now sort of beckoning you to root them into your everyday experience so that you can start to enjoy your life in a more aware of your co-creation in your experiences. So I think this is super powerful. What is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon come together at the exact same degree in any one sign every month. So every month we have an opportunity to plant seeds for new experiences. But the sign that the new moon is in is sort of giving us a clue as to where we would be best to plant. And here it's in this earth sign that is a sign where the Virgin rules Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo. The symbol of the Virgin is one who is on a journey of discovery. And I think that's often overlooked when we talk about Virgo, because we're taking the first 5 houses that the soul has journeyed through the physical experience and the discovery it's made about the self. And now this is really the first house where we are actively applying those skills for an exchange of money. And that exchange of money is our livelihood. It's how we feel safe and we feel secure in the world. So for me, when I look at the sun, how I identify myself out into the world, and then the moon is how I identify myself in the interior world. So here as they're coming together, this is an opportunity to look at, how am I treating myself? Am I treating my physical body like a machine and running it hard to get things done? Or am I aware that this is a vessel that actually requires a certain amount of balance and maintenance in order to be able to facilitate the things that we want to experience within the physical? So I think this is super powerful, because oftentimes we just sort of look at the sign of Virgo as a sign of duty and service. And we often forget that in order to truly be of service to others, we are being of service to ourselves, and the vessel both within the physical and the mental is very important in order to be able to execute our service to others. So I think this is powerful. This new moon is at the 21st degree, but it's at 21 and 58 minutes. So it's almost at this 22nd degree. The 22nd degree is a degree, I'm just going to focus on the number 22 rather than the sign of Capricorn, because I believe that here this is coming into a partnership in many ways between your desire, Virgo's desire to be of service, and then their desire to also feel the balance of their own agenda, their own playtime, rest time, replenishment time. Now, during this new moon, we have Mercury and it's been retrograde in Virgo at 8 degrees. And the 8th degree is the sign of transformation. It represents the Scorpio energy, which is the energy that is attached to other people as well. Other people's money, other people's bodies in the form of sex. It is a deep and psychological degree. And Mercury is basically stationing at 8 degrees as we go into, it's the shadow period. So Mercury's slowed down and it's about to go direct on the 15th of September. And it will spend a solid good 7 days, 6-7 days at that 8th degree, which I believe is a very strong time to plant the seeds for new thoughts. I believe that as we see Pluto move into Aquarius, humans are going to become more connected to the idea that focused thought creates experiences that give us choices, which is then what we call karma. So this new moon for me is very much about coming into alignment with a renovated version of myself, with an opportunity to have new thoughts, new ideologies, new philosophies, and to start to really assess how much time I spend in my habitual everyday expected activities, because the human structure has a certain amount of expectations. You should be going to work every day. You should be drinking water every day. You should be exercising every day. We've got a lot of little rules and regulations that sit underneath our activities. And whether we assess those activities to be viable and productive or not. So this new moon is making a trine to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is retrograde at 22 degrees and has been sort of hanging out at that degree as well. We have a lot of planets right now in the background that are retrograde, and the retrograde gives us an opportunity to review, to reevaluate, and also to rest. And I don't know if the Virgo energy always identifies rest as a productive activity. It tends to want to go, 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 go. Mercury likes to move very quickly. So I believe that this trine to Uranus in Taurus is giving us an opportunity to look at our everyday thoughts and to start to have an awareness of what is an imprint, also known as a habitual thought, also known as what the brain is a muscle, and it's imprinted with these experiences when we're younger that we take as universal law into our adulthood unless we have new experiences to counter those. So oftentimes we don't even realize that the way we think is not necessarily a chosen thought. That's the way I want to put it. And Uranus is calling forth chosen thoughts. Uranus is offering a favorable aspect into not diving into how you run your life in a way to create criticism, but rather to unchain you from that which you do not out of joy, but out of obligation. One of the darker sides of Virgo energy is the perfectionism, the trying to be perfect, trying to make sure everything is right, everything is spot on, or all the ducks are in a row. And really life is messy, and life is in some ways kind of chaotic, and things can change very quickly. So here, when we start to look at Virgo as the energy of the Virgin on a journey of discovery, then we can take some of the pressure of the expectations off the Virgo energy. Uranus is also, while it's making a trine to this new moon, we have Uranus conjunct Jupiter retrograde. And we've been experiencing these two planets hanging out together for a while now. And now they're both going backwards in the sign of using my skills, of looking at the earth plane and the tools it offers me, and deciding if I want to learn how to master those tools from a new place. And I think this is where Uranus is saying, this is about your thoughts and your focused thoughts. What is the percentage of time you spend contemplating your happiness, your joy and the viability of that joy versus how much time do you spend focusing on the things that you have to get done, should get done, need to get done. This is a real opportunity for liberation. Recently, we had Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. She is now moving forward in Leo. And while she doesn't appear to have a direct correlation to the new moon, she is making a square to Jupiter. And Jupiter is conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is supporting a new version of my everyday activities through this new moon. Now, Venus represents in Taurus. She's in Leo right now, but she rules Taurus. So that rules our food, it rules our family history, our skills, how we apply them in the practical, realistic 3D world. And I believe what's happening here with this square to Jupiter is we're starting to feel this tension between an old way of believing, Jupiter, my philosophy of life, my beliefs in life, also my willingness to have new beliefs and be diverse in my thought, to allow myself to be educated from a broader perspective so that it gives me more opportunities for growth and expansion. So Jupiter at 15 degrees retrograde in Taurus, making a square to Venus at 14 degrees Leo, is this sort of tense moment between where I have been, Venus, my traditional way of thinking I am deserving, and Jupiter offering expansion. Venus is also conjunct Juno. Now, Venus rules love and romance, and Juno rules commitment and partnership. Juno is an asteroid, and she's been traveling through Leo, and this has been bringing forth this unconscious wanting to find our person and to connect and to commit. So here, this tense square between Jupiter and Venus and Juno is asking you, do you still believe that your committed relationship is viable, or that it is standing before you somewhere in your future? Are you focusing in on the joy of that idea, meaning commitment through partnership, through Juno's going to indicate what kind of partner you are and the kind of partner you need. And I can't help but also associate that with my professional life and how I present myself creatively when she is in Leo. She's going to be very passionate and maybe even a little bit dramatic. So here, there could be this feeling during this new moon with Venus and Juno, my Venus representing my money, my beauty, my self-worth, Juno, my ability to commit to that, to my version of that, and making this tense aspect between what has been and what can be. So I think the importance of it being in the new moon being in Virgo is this opportunity to be aware of how much I default to what has been, how much I infuse practicality and reality, because look at all the experiences I have before me to prove my point. Or am I willing to go into a future where I'm co-creating because I'm aligning my thoughts to where I want to go versus where I've been? And I think that is what this whole period of the 2020s for humanity has been calling forth. And I think we're going to see this become even more evident as we see Pluto move into Aquarius and ultimately Uranus in Gemini in 2027. So this is very powerful. One of the things that I think this new moon has is an opportunity to look where we inadvertently criticize ourselves out of our dreams. I'm not good enough. I'm not skilled enough. Who will like it? Where is the audience? How, when I'm enjoying my own creation, am I really being of service to others? There's a very funny kind of energy within this Virgo dynamic that feels a little bit like a push-pull. It's because we want to be of service to others. It's a sign of the healer. And I actually, Teri Hunter, don't like the word healing anymore. I don't think we're broken. So I'm going to start calling it the sign of the balancer. When we're looking at any sort of human challenges, there's always an opportunity attached to that. And our willingness to focus on the opportunity before us versus the obstacle starts to open the path. I think this new moon is offering us an opportunity to go from self-criticism and judgment into giving way to new potentials, self-acceptance for the learning curve that Mercury offers. Mercury rules learning, teaching, speaking, writing, all sorts of communications. So this new moon is giving me an opportunity to be aware of how I communicate and how that contributes to my experiences. I think that there's a real opportunity to assess where I'm willing to be flexible. And I don't mean flexible to other people. I mean flexible to what my mind conceives as viable and where my inner knowing, my intuitive knowing wants to lead me in a new direction. So I think this is a very powerful time for us to start to plant the seeds of awareness. And within that awareness, giving ourselves the privilege and the grace of the journey of awareness. So I want to talk quickly about the houses that this is going to affect. I'm going to go by rising sign. This is based on whole sign Western astrology. If you prefer the Placidus system, you're just going to have to check the house and make sure that it's the same, because it might not be. But for all intents and purposes, we're just going to go whole sign Western. So I'm talking about Aries rising. This is going to be in your 6th house. Virgo is your 6th house. This new moon will give you an opportunity to look and see where your daily habits foster the experiences you want or they don't. I also want to say this because Aries is ruled by Mars. Aries is known to be a bit of a hothead, a little bit, it's a fire sign. It can be known to be a little bit brash, a little bit curt, a little bit impatient. And here, I think this is an opportunity for my Aries rising to see how much their impatience actually fires up their body in a way that may not be serving their long-term goals. Impatience, anger, frustration, it literally feels like fire in the body. And so here, this is a real opportunity for Aries to say, wait, I'm a pioneer. I'm not here just to run through the territory, but to learn about how to work the land, how to take the signs of nature. You know, when you walk through a forest and it's super, super quiet, danger is afoot. A noisy forest is a peaceful forest. So these are the things that Aries is going to learn as it sets its intentions for this new moon to broaden your awareness of yourself and how that affects your physical being. For my Tauruses, Virgo is your 5th house. The 5th house by nature is ruled by Leo. It's a very creative sign. It is also a sign of self-expression, of entertainment, of joy, of fun. Here, I think that planting the seeds, for some reason, I'm connecting to the potential conception of children. And if you've had any challenges conceiving a child, I want to sort of infuse the idea that a child is a soul that is chosen to have a physical experience, and the parents that it chooses to come through facilitate that experience. So if for some reason you've had challenges and things haven't been working out, it could be because the stars are all backwards and the soul wants to come in a more favorable time. I also want to offer this too, because Taurus is an earth sign, Virgo is an earth sign. So there's a natural trine. And I think that this particular new moon for my earth signs and my Taurus would be great to go out into nature, put your feet in grass, to feel the dirt under your feet, to hug a tree if you want, as you plant your intentions for this new moon. Again, we're going to see, while the 5th house rules entertainment, the superimposing Virgo energy may sometimes commingle work and pleasure. And sometimes we need to just default to the pleasure. That's kind of how I want to put it. All right, Gemini. Virgo is your fourth house. The fourth house rules home. It rules our property. It rules the land of origin. And then on top of that, it's ruling our everyday activities. There's something about this. Gemini and Virgo both are ruled by Mercury. Mercury, again, is stationing to go direct the day after the new moon. For my Geminis, there may be some thoughts about your home, what you want to do in the way of planting the seeds for making your home more viable, more you can make a home gym. You might decide you want to start cooking at home. You want to be more aware of what you're putting into your body and how that affects how your body operates. Yeah, I'm 63. I'll be 64 next month. And I've had some challenges with my hands. And my grandmother had arthritis. And, I've been contemplating, my age. And I also am aware of things that create inflammation within my body. And I say that because I feel like I have a certain amount of power, and yet my daily habits might be undermining what my knowledge is. And I could get very critical of myself for not being perfect and eating the right thing all the time. But that won't serve me. So I am what I am. Because Gemini, this new moon in your fourth house makes me feel as if you're starting to really think about your home life, where you're living. Is it serving your peace of mind? Is it your haven, or is it is it another project that you have to work on? And I think planting the seeds, because we know that 6 months from now, we'll have a full moon in Virgo, and we will have all those retrogrades will have been moved forward. And I think you'll come to a realization, and you may not slow down, but you may put the shoulds in your life, the have tos in your life, into a back burner situation, and start paying attention to your home in a way that's creating a sense of peace and serenity and a feeling of sort of being able to shut the responsibilities of the outside world and tucking in a little bit. That's the way I kind of see this. So I think that's kind of fun. And I want to offer this as well, because part of the service that we have to offer others is the privilege of enjoying our life, and not because we have the money to do so, but because we create the time through our thoughts, through our privilege, that we deserve that time for rest and relaxation. So that might be another thing that's going on, is you want to spend more time at home, more time, nurturing your house, your garden, your, sprucing up your home in some way. All right, Cancer. The house of Virgo is your third house the third house is naturally ruled by Mercury. It's a Gemini house. So we're seeing this new moon giving you an opportunity to look at how much you are assessing things from a cerebral place, from a place of your mind, versus trusting that inner knowing that is so Cancerian, that is, the depths of who you are at a very, very deep level. And I want to offer this as well, because the sign of Virgo and Cancer, they naturally are sextile to one another. So I feel like this new moon is about planting the seeds of self-nurturing thoughts, sort of sorry, I'm playing with my hair. I'm sweating in here and it's humid and my hair is sticking to me. I apologize. I think for my Cancer rising, this is Pluto's been opposing your first house for a long time, since 2008. And you've gone through a series of metaphoric and maybe even some physical deaths that have brought new philosophies and ways of thinking to you. And as you naturally trust your inner knowing and that inner nurturer, Cancer is the sign of the healer. My new word is the balancer. So here I'm seeing an opportunity for planting the seeds for balance between the realistic thoughts that are expected of me as I walk in this structure known as the human experience, and what I know on an interior level that can't be seen in any sort of realistic 3D way. And I think that is really powerful for Cancer, because I think it's this balancing and this ebb and flow between the two that will actually help the crab. Rather than continuing to move sideways, you'll make some forward motion. Leo, Virgo is your second house. And for me, this plays back to what I was talking about, Juno and Venus being in your first house. There is a feeling of an opportunity to start to plant the seeds for using your talents, using your skills, using your creativity and your passion, and even your flair for the dramatic, and starting to plant the seeds to make physical money from that, potentially putting yourself out into on a platform, whether it be like a YouTube or an Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, or even not that, but somewhere using your innate talents and skills in a way where you can start to see your value through your financial body, and therefore building a stronger sense of confidence for yourself moving forward. For my Virgos, this new moon is in your first house. And I think this is a real opportunity to take a look at how much you expect of yourself in the way of perfection, in the way of delivering the goods that you offer. Where are you being dependable? Is it somewhere you enjoy putting yourself, planting yourself? I feel very much that this is an opportunity to rewrite the Virgo energy from the dutiful and the servant and the slave to the naive and the innocent and the journeyer. There's a feeling of, in the tarot, when you get to the number 6 in the minor arcana, it's another new beginning. We have 1 through 5 representing the minor arcana have 10 cards. So 1 through 5 is one chapter, 6 through 10 is another. And here, I think this is a real opportunity as you naturally represent the 6th house. And now we're talking about this new moon is in your first house of self. This is about planting a new version of yourself, using all of your skills and your organizational ability, but now how am I applying that to myself for my own ease, my own enjoyment, and my own pleasure? Because the more I feel that pleasure, the more I feel that joy, the less I will feel the drain and strain of service to others with no compensation. And sometimes that compensation is a pat on the back and an acknowledgement, not just a paycheck or a monetary exchange. For my Libras, Virgo is your 12th house. And you know, sometimes when I think about the Libra rising energy and Virgo being the 12th house, it's a place where you're not seen necessarily, where you feel like your service is invisible, or sometimes you might even feel like it's being taken for granted. So now I want to transpose that 12th house as a house of where I'm not seen into a house that offers me a journey of self through reflection and meditation. And what do I really want for myself? Am I, as a Libra, only acknowledging the things about myself that others see in me? There is an opportunity with this Virgo energy in your 12th house to assess and to realign the things that you want in a way that puts you as an equal opportunity employer, as they used to say, but an equal opportunity co-creator here. This is a little bit of a challenge because Libra is so naturally cooperative. And now we put the house of service in the house behind you. So you may not be seen for your cooperation. You may not be seen for the harmony you're trying to foster. And that might be because inadvertently you're focused out versus focusing in. So I think this is a real opportunity for Libra to spend some time in a meditative energy or in a connected energy to spirit, an intentional connected energy and a quiet time so that you can differentiate between what you want for yourself and what you want for yourself, because other people will approve of it. All right, for my Scorpios, the house of Virgo for you is your 11th house of networks, of expansion, of innovation, of science and technology, of the future. And Scorpio, I think this is very powerful because Scorpio is such a rich, savory energy. And as you plant the seeds for your service to be broadened, your belief system to be expanded upon. And I almost feel as if the South Node, as it transited through your first house, gave you an opportunity to be egoless to a larger intention and align to that, meaning your soul. And here is an opportunity to plant the seeds to be of service by being willing to demonstrate through your everyday activities, your everyday talk, and your own personal hopes and dreams, the viability and the deep rootedness of this transformation that you've been going through for quite some time. I think that when I look at this 11th house Virgo, there is that feeling of that upachaya house that rewards over time, that offers me bounty, but it usually comes in later chapters. And I feel like this is something that Scorpio inherently has the patience for. And yet there could be a frustration if you are being overly critical by you. Like, let's say you're a YouTuber and you're judging your numbers right now. Okay, my numbers are going down. I should be going up, up, up. I think that's a disservice. I feel like sticking to your authentic self, your authentic voice, and then assessing how you are being of service. Are you enjoying this as you produce your product, or you foster your hopes and your dreams? The 11th house is going to be about expansion and looking at the world from a cosmic consciousness. It's very much a feeling of being here and there, meaning there, somewhere in the cosmos. All right, for my Sagittariuses, Sagittarius rising Virgo is your 10th house of achievement, of career, of public status, and what people, how they observe you, how they see you as a leader. And here I think this is an opportunity to plant the seeds for some Sagittarian diversity, for some expansion of your beliefs and what you want. Sometimes when we get into these public houses where others observe us, we can inadvertently shave off some of our desires because we consider ourselves have to be responsible to other people and what they believe is responsible. And here with your ruling planet in conjunction to Uranus, as it makes a trine to the new moon, gives me an opportunity to expand in maybe some unsettling ways. Maybe your audience or the people around you or the people that you work with will not, they'll be like, oh, what are you doing, Sagittarius? You don't usually operate that way. But at the same time, this liberation will be like an invitation to others to assess their everyday activities and habits, and if they enjoy them the way they should. Joy is truly the key. Happy people inadvertently have a heightened immune system. They have a heightened energetic vibration that keeps away dis-ease. So I think this is an opportunity for you to really plant the seeds to be not only of service to others, but to be of service to your new expanded beliefs. Capricorn, the house of Virgo, is your 9th house, and it's a natural trine. It's a cooperative energy, and I want to offer it this way because while Taurus and Capricorn and Virgo are all earth signs and they're all cooperative on some level, there's something about Virgo and Capricorn's connection that feels very synergistic to me. They feel very much like hand in glove. And here I think with Capricorn having Pluto going through your first house for such a long time, you've had an opportunity to renovate, to stand in new philosophies about your leadership and what you want to build for yourself. And I think that this new moon is going to start to really put a focus in on what you've been wanting to foster and nurture in the way of new beliefs and ideologies and ways of running your everyday life and what you are capable of. The Capricorn energy is a natural builder. And while Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, has its challenges, Saturn ruled the golden age. And when Saturn got paranoid and started getting all freakish, it was because he was having, his own issues with annihilating and killing his father Uranus. So, to me, that's where I think like the idea of karma comes in, because at the time that he executed his father or killed him, however you want to put it, he had his certain reasons for that. But as Saturn aged and had his own children, he became paranoid of this old energy. That's why Saturn can be so challenging. But this is where I'm going with this, Capricorn. All of that old energy that we talk about, the fear of what I did before is going to bite me in the butt today, that's not necessary. That's focus. Fear creates a focus that is paralyzing. So here you get an opportunity, as your 9th house is Virgo, to rewrite your beliefs, to be diverse, to have transformed, and to have educated yourself in ways. The 9th house rules higher levels of education. And in doing so, this makes what came before a valuable tool for awareness. It's not an anchor for repentance. So I feel like this is a really powerful new moon to encourage, plant, and even celebrate your new belief system, and to call upon that belief system to give you experiences to continue that deep rootedness that is going to see you through your future. Aquarius, the house of Virgo, is your 8th house. The 8th house is a very transformational house. And here, what I'm seeing is that there could be a real liberation of anything you feel enslaved to with other people and resources. We know that we have, the trine to Uranus with this new moon, and Jupiter is retrograde, and Jupiter is making a square to Venus. And here I'm thinking it's all related to finances. And you may be starting to plant the seeds for a little bit of to release yourself, or to reinvent yourself and the way you make money and how you are of service to others. Or if you have been inadvertently dependent on another for resources, you may start to plant the seeds for no longer needing help, to stand a little bit more independently on your own. Your ruling planet, Uranus, is making a favorable aspect in this to this new moon, which is in the sign of Taurus. So there's a lot of planting of new seeds to give us new experiences that start to balance our history. So we can start to see that this unpleasant experience fostered an awareness of me wanting to move over here. So it was a catalyst, because the 8th house is always going to be transformational. And there's an opportunity to look at where people have power over me and where I'm inadvertently being overly dominant to someone else. And finally, Pisces. Virgo is your 7th house of partnerships. And right now we know that Saturn is in your 1st house. And Saturn is asking you to create realistic relationships based on a future that brings reward, not obligation. And Pisces, while it is a very compassionate sign, it can sometimes be overly compassionate when it comes to your partners, meaning you sort of fuse into their persona versus allowing yourself to have your individual persona. So here, I think that the 7th house of Virgo is giving you an opportunity to use your particular process of analyzation, how you like to assess a situation, and do this within your contractual partnerships, within the relationships that directly affect your emotional body, which then inadvertently can affect how you feel about moving forward in your financial body, in your work body. Virgo is a sign of work. It's a sign of employment and employers. So very much this might not be about romantic marriages. It may very much be about professional partnerships and commitments within them. And if for some reason Pisces has been saying, oh, my employer is going to see how hard I work and someday they're going to give me that raise I want, that may not be the case. And this opportunity to plant the seeds for a work situation where you feel valued, not just through verbal words, but also through the monetary exchange of energy, will be much more powerful for allowing Pisces, or I should say fostering Pisces, to feel valued within their partnerships. So I think this is really powerful. The main focus of this new moon is our daily activities, and that includes our daily thoughts, our daily speech, our daily intake of media and media input. So I think that's really powerful, because all of those things eventually trickle down into the physical body. And when we are standing in a vibration of excitement and joy, and at least at the very bottom line, hopefulness for the future, our body responds in kind. So, all right, that's it for me for today. Again, I have taken the month of September off of the lives, and I'm primarily focused on the renovations within my home. So I'll be back with the full moon in Aries coming up, and I will have October videos done. So I hope you'll bear with me while I take this little time to replenish and realign myself to my own goals. And I hope you'll continue to be one of my subscribers, and like and share and comment on these videos. All right, everybody, have a wonderful September. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace out.